John Basilone stands as one of the most decorated Marines in American history and is the only enlisted Marine in World War II to receive both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross. But what if I told you that one of America's greatest war heroes grew up in a simple two-family house that now sits beneath a gas station? The story of Medal of Honor recipient John Basilone isn't just about heroism on distant battlefields, it's about the humble beginnings that shaped a legend, and the homes that witnessed both triumph and heartbreak. Born on November 4, 1916, in Buffalo, New York, he was the sixth of 10 children in an Italian-American family that would soon relocate to New Jersey, where young John's character would be forged in the streets and fields of a small American town. This unassuming address, where a Shell station stands today, would become the foundation of a legend, a place where a future hero learned the values of family, hard work, and service that would define his extraordinary life. While many war heroes fade into history, Basilone's legacy endures not just in monuments and medals, but in the very places he called home. From his childhood residence in Raritan, New Jersey, to the brief but profound happiness he found with his wife Lena at Camp Pendleton, California, and finally to the Lakewood home where his widow preserved his memory for over 50 years. These locations tell a story that goes far beyond military service. Today, we're taking you inside the homes that shaped and sheltered America's most celebrated Marine hero, revealing intimate details about the man behind the medal and the enduring love story that transcended even death itself. Our journey begins at 113 First Avenue in Raritan, New Jersey, where it was a two-family home that was owned by Dora's family. The Basilones lived on one side of the house, while a Bengavenga family lived on the other side. Each half of the home had just 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Picture this: 10 children, their parents Salvatore and Dora, all sharing just 3 bedrooms and a single bathroom. In today's world, this would seem impossibly cramped, but as the local historian notes, no one complained, as that is how things were back then. The house itself was a modest wooden structure, typical of working-class Italian immigrant families in the 1920s. Salvatore Basilone, who came to this country from Italy in 1903 when he was just 19, had built a life for his family through hard work and determination. The home's interior would have been simple but warm, filled with the sounds of children playing, the aroma of Dora's Italian cooking, and the steady rhythm of a large family making their way in America. What made this house special wasn't its size or amenities, it was what happened around it. Across from the Basilone home was an open field that served as their playground. In this field, they played a variety of sports, including baseball and football, but it was the hitting of golf balls that was their favorite pastime. Young John spent countless hours in this field, developing the physical coordination and competitive spirit that would later serve him so well in combat. The location of the house was perfect for adventure-seeking kids. In the 1920s, there were no local public pools, and air conditioning was decades away. So, on a hot summer day, John and dozens of other boys would swim in the Raritan River, just a short walk from their front door. The family home sat at the heart of a close-knit community where neighbors watched out for each other's children, and everyone knew the Basilone family. But perhaps the most telling detail about this childhood home was how it shaped John's character. John's cousin, Carl Bengavenga, recalled that once Carl, John, and another kid were speeding down the hill when they realized that they were on a collision course with a car. Carl said that he and the other kids froze in fear, but John Basilone, displaying coolness in this potentially deadly situation, managed to dig his heels into the ground, flipping the sled over so they avoided being hit by the car. Even as a child, John exhibited the quick thinking and courage under pressure that would later save countless Marines' lives. The tragedy of this story is what happened to the house itself. The two-family house, once occupied on one side by the Basilones and the other side by the Bengavengas, was inherited by the Bengavenga family. Over time, The road that the house was on became a main road. So, to take advantage of this, in 1950, Carl Bengevenga built a gas/repair station on the property next to the house. Then, in 1961, the house was knocked down to make more room for the gas station. Today, where America's greatest war hero learned to be brave, learned to lead, and learned to love his family, cars simply pull up to pump gas. After his Medal of Honor heroics at Guadalcanal, Basilone was brought back to the United States for a war bond tour. But the man who had faced down 3,000 Japanese soldiers was restless being a celebrity. He requested to return to combat, and in late 1943, he was assigned to Camp Pendleton, California, to train Marines for the upcoming invasion of Japan. It was here, in the chow halls and training grounds of Camp Pendleton, that John's life took an unexpected turn. He met Lena Riggi. She was also a Marine sergeant, albeit reservist, who had one less stripe than John. The base housing where they both lived was typical military quarters, functional, sparse, but filled with the energy of thousands of Marines preparing for war. James Brady, in his book Hero of the Pacific, quotes Basilone's recollection of the first time he saw the woman he would marry. "I saw her as I came down the serving line. She was dark, Italian or Spanish kind of dark, black hair, dark eyes, and she walked around like she owned the place." Lena wasn't impressed by his celebrity status. Sergeant Riggi waited for the gossips to tire themselves out, looked at them, and said, "So what? She was the girl for me." The couple's courtship took place in the mess halls, training areas, and beaches around Camp Pendleton. They would walk along the California coastline, sharing dreams of a future together, knowing that their time was limited. The base itself became the backdrop for their whirlwind romance, a love story that unfolded against the backdrop of military urgency and wartime uncertainty. Their quarters at Camp Pendleton were nothing special, standard military housing with concrete walls and basic furniture. But for John and Lena, these simple rooms represented hope and happiness. "I wanted to know how it was to love somebody the way Pop loved Mama," Basilone admitted in James Brady's book, Hero of the Pacific. "At least I wanted a few days or weeks, if I could get it, to know what it was like to be married." They were married at St. Mary's Star of the Sea Church in Oceanside, California on July 10, 1944, with a reception at the Carlsbad Hotel. They honeymooned at an onion farm near Portland, Oregon. For their brief time as newlyweds, they lived in married housing at Camp Pendleton, making the most of every moment they had together. The base housing where they spent their final weeks together was simple but precious to them. These were the rooms where John and Lena talked about their dreams, where they held each other, knowing that duty would soon call him back to the Pacific, where they tried to pack a lifetime of love into just a few short months. After John's death at Iwo Jima on February 19, 1945, Lena was notified of his death on March 7, 1945, her 32nd birthday. Lena faced a choice that would define the rest of her life. Lena never remarried. She purchased a home in Lakewood, California, and lived there for over 50 years until her death. The Lakewood home became a memorial to their brief but profound love. Her obituary states that she died while still wearing the wedding ring that John had given to her decades prior, which serves as a clear indication of her long-lasting devotion to him. For over 5 decades, Lena maintained this house as a testament to their love story. Inside the Lakewood home, Lena surrounded herself with memories of John, military photographs, his medals and decorations, letters from their brief courtship, and wedding pictures filled the rooms. Friends who visited described a woman who had created a living memorial to her husband, not out of sadness, but out of love that transcended death itself. One of the most poignant aspects of the Lakewood home was Lena's refusal to accept what many would consider a great honor. Although the Veterans Administration offered to bury Lena in Arlington Cemetery near her husband, she refused the offer, saying, She didn't want to cause trouble for anyone. Instead, she was content to live quietly in her Lakewood home, preserving John's memory through her daily life, rather than grand gestures. The homes of John Basilone tell a story that goes far beyond military heroism. They speak to the power of humble beginnings, the importance of family, and the enduring nature of true love. From the crowded but loving household at 113 First Avenue, where 10 children learned the values that would guide them through life, to the simple military quarters at Camp Pendleton, where a hero found love, to the Lakewood bungalow, where a widow kept a flame burning for over half a century. These homes remind us that behind every Medal of Honor is a human story. John Basilone was awarded the Medal of Honor in recognition of his outstanding heroism at Guadalcanal. Later, during the Iwo Jima campaign, he was killed in action on D-Day, 19 February 1945. But his true legacy isn't just in the battles he won or the lives he saved in combat. It's in the example he set of how to live with courage, love deeply, and serve others selflessly. Today, as cars fill up with gas where his childhood home once stood, as new Marines train at the facilities that bear his name, and as travelers drive the freeway named in his honor, John Basilone's spirit endures. His homes may have been simple, his time on Earth tragically brief, but the values they represented, family, duty, love, and sacrifice, remain as powerful today as they were when a young man from Raritan decided to serve his country. The next time you pass by an unremarkable house, remember that heroes are made in ordinary places by ordinary families who instill extraordinary values. John Basilone's homes weren't mansions or palaces. They were the humble foundations upon which American greatness was built. If this story of love, heroism, and sacrifice touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories of America's greatest heroes. In the comments below, tell us about the unsung heroes in your own family and community, because every great story starts at home, and every hero was once someone's child, learning right from wrong in a house that shaped their destiny. Until next time, remember that the greatest treasures aren't found in mansions, but in the memories we create and the love we leave behind.